Alright, local recording. Let's see, have I got this right? I hope so. So, hey, this is my next, I don't know, it's like my next vlog. I don't know what the hell number I'm on. Rifkin was nice enough to upload my last one because I actually physically could not upload it at all. In the meantime, I was actually going to make this vlog on a different topic. I don't know, vlog just sounds, I don't know. I don't know. But I recently actually started doing Pokemon Let's Plays again. I'm doing Soul Silver, which is actually like, it's one of the DS versions. Pretty good, I have to say. I really like the graphics and the things that they've done with it. Having said that, there's a huge motherfucking patch out on Heart of the Swarm. They are patching it tonight, so it's actually Wednesday when I'm doing this. I finished the first round of finals, which is quite nice. It means I have another 4 days to procrastinate and do other stuff. So, I figured I would go out and give you my idea of the patch changes. So this is for the Heart of the Swarm specifically. I do think that they're kind of leaving Wings of Liberty to kind of die. There's actually, Mr. Che said that they would be switching to Heart of the Swarm on GSL like almost immediately, which I think is a kind of an interesting idea, considering it's not like tried and tested. I didn't watch the video in its entirety. I saw summaries. I'm going to do that probably tomorrow when I have more time. I just got home like at 7 and it's 9:43. My mic boom was in the way of my laptop time camera thingy. So starting off with Terran, they said they wanted to buff Bio in the late game. I think buffing the Medivac is a good idea to do that. Drop Harass is going to be quite a bit more effective. It's going to be interesting to see how Widow Mines come into play. If they are changed at all. Because right now I think that Reaper Widowmine all-ins are ridiculously strong, and I think that those two things literally screw the entire matchup. I think that TVT is an absolute joke that takes very, very little skill because you literally have to change your entire game plan to compensate for some unscoutable all-ins that, because the maps are so big, right? It would be different like if you had two-player maps like Cloud or some of the Antigua the tournament versions and stuff like that. But no, the maps in the beta itself are just horrid. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. I really like the fact that they're buffing the Medivac. I think that it does have the opportunity to be overpowered, but the inability to get that upgrade in the early game I think will go a long way to balance it. I think this will help a lot against Fungal. I think this will help a lot against like the Ultra Baneling Infestor composition that we've been seeing lately in TVZ. And I think that this will overall give a little bit of a buff to late game TVP. Subtle, yeah, but it's there. So, the Reaper, I really wholeheartedly disagree with the fact that they're buffing it even more because I've said this before. Reapers are not viable in TVP and TVZ if your opponent has a brain. They completely fuck TVT because they're now just imbalanced. I mean, there's no, like, you need to go Reapers, and the reason they patched them in the first place was because you needed to go Reapers, and they're falling into the same pitfall. They buff a unit to a certain extent and then either don't look at it. I can guarantee you that it's going to be like completely out of the metagame as soon as the next nerf hits, because Blizzard thinks that way. They're like, oh god, this is too good, we have to fucking nerf this now. And even pros like don't play Terran on, like I know for a fact a Muslim doesn't do it. I don't know if Kawaii does it for this reason. Beastie doesn't do it because of the lag, but there are a lot of people that don't play specifically because TVT is a fucking joke. The Widow Mines no longer hits cloak units. I don't really, it doesn't. Drilling Claws is a new upgrade. This is to buff it in a little bit in the late game. Requires an armory and a tech lab. 150, 150, 110 research time, so it's going to be the new Caduceus reactor. Decreases burrow time by 2 seconds, actually, which is a ridiculously good thing to get. I don't know, I really think that Widow Mines fall off in the late game. I think they're too strong in the early game, and then they're just like, yeah, meh, in the late game, because like detection is so easy, and generally you have, I mean, the Protoss, if you're going to mech, right, Widow Mines are to give mech viability in TVP and give it a little bit of a buff in the other matchups. If you're going to mech in TVP, your opponent's going to have Tempests and they're going to have Observers, and Tempests and Observers are actually pretty good at killing Widow Mines. In TVZ, I mean, your opponent's not going to, like, Ling Renbais might be a little bit less effective because it's kind of a coin flip at this point. Well, it's always been a coin flip, right? But it's even more risky to do so. I mean, Roach Runbys are still going to be quite potent. The splash damage radius isn't all that much to the point where like mass Roach won't be viable. It keeps you safe a little bit from against early game Olens, which I really like. The Thor changes. Now the Thor changes, if I were to like just narrow in on one thing that I actually think this is very it's very logical. Like it follows. I understand exactly why they're implementing this change, and I really, really like it. Because it changes the way that the game will be played for the better. They took off 250mm strike cannons. The Thor can now switch between two modes. I believe that the mode shift takes 4 seconds. So I'm pretty sure this is a cooldown spell without any energy requirement, which means that they will not have energy bar for Templar to feedback and TVP. I don't know 100% if this is actually going to change anything. I would love to play it tomorrow. I'd love to play it today, actually, but I most likely... By the time I go to bed, I was like writing a paper until 3 last night. So most likely by the time I go to bed, the patch will not quite be live yet. I may stream a little bit tomorrow, I don't know. And so the Thor switch between two modes. Explosive payload is the anti-air that we're used to, the Javelin missile. But it has an alternative, the high impact payload mode, which is actually the 250mm Punisher cannon, which has 10 range and deals 24 flat damage. They don't include an attack speed in this. I'm assuming it's going to really help against Broodlords, and I'm assuming it's really going to help against Tempests. Because Tempests, while people say they suck, they are insanely overpowered at the moment in the current metagame against TVP mech late game. Like, literally, it's impossible. Once you get a critical mass out, it's impossible to trade effectively Viking against Tempests. And, like, Thors are your only other anti-air. Big fucking whoop, man. Let's see. Thor radius, inner radius, and separation radius has been increased. So with this, they actually, like, they're gonna be a little bit clunkier units. I'm okay with that trade-off because I really want to see what these changes do. Seeker Missile. This is one of those joke changes that is, like, just a joke. It doubles the Yamato cannon roll, and every time you have overlapping rolls, something is going to be completely left out of the limelight and never used. I believe it's going to be the Raven in this point. Yes, BCs cost an arm and a leg mineralize, and it makes transitions to them a little bit ineffective, but they're changing Hunter Seeker to a 300 single target damage shot, which is the exact same thing as the Yamato. Exactly the same time for it to charge up. Exactly same range. What the fuck, right? That's pretty much it. And if the unit moves out of 13 range from where Hunter Seeker Missiles has been cast, it actually just kind of fizzles out and dies. Alright, so, the Hellbat. Okay, the splash damage radius has been increased from 90 to 110. Whatever. The Armory, I like this change. I like this change a lot. I don't like it for TVT, but I like it for the other two matchups a lot. Why don't I like it for TVT? It was kind of a gas thing, and it was a fact that you have to have two armories to try and go into a ship change. If you, for some reason, miss your scans and miss your like a scout of your opponent switching to air, he's gonna have like ship upgrades if he's been upgrading his tanks, which really kind of blows because that's like one of the, like, getting plating, 3 plating, then pushing out against a Bioforce is one way to like straight up win in the late game. Especially with the medevac upgrade, I'm not sure how that's gonna work out. But for TVP and TVZ, I like it a lot, and I think we may actually see some more late game air transitions in TVP out of it. Protoss. Vortex now just straight up kills a single target. There is no reason that you will ever get a mothership when the mothership core can recall. Right? Vortex, it has a single target nuke ability. It costs an arm and a leg, and it requires you to spend an insane amount of chrono boost and actually construct something out of your nexus. And it costs a lot of supply. This is another thing about doubling rolls. Pulsar Beam on the Oracle. The Pulsar Beam was just ridiculously good against add-ons. If you played Terran, like, you would just wake up at night in cold sweats about all of your add-ons dying in 2 seconds because this unit was insanely fast. I like the changes that they actually did with that. 15 plus 10 light, but the weapon range is reduced to 4. I think that's a trade-off. Marines can now kill it a little bit easier. It's going to be absolutely useless against Queens, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. They were pretty good in PvZ, though. Phoenix, the range is upgraded into range 5, and there is now +2 range in the upgrade. That's continued. That hasn't been changed. I still don't think they're going to be like cost effective against mutas, but if you see with the muta speed change, if you see Zerg try to go like mass muta again in PvZ, I don't really think it's going to pay out all that well. I really think that this is hands down the worst patch that Blizzard has ever like even conceived. Like any of those balance updates, they're like, hey, come try this on the PTR. No, this is absolutely motherfucking retarded. I cannot understand how you can live and breathe on this planet and go to work for them as a balance developer and still put this change online, live, even in a beta. Dark Shrine cost is down to 100 instead of 100-250. They said a week prior to this that the only reason that they were looking to change DTs was to give them a buff for late game viability. Specifically, an addendum to that was the fact that they did not want to make it easier to rush DTs. And this is the fucking change that they implement. What the fuck are they thinking? I don't know. I can't wrap my head around how fail the logic is on that. I don't understand how this made this live. If this isn't reverted within a week, I mean, it's one of those things like the Queen patch. Like, this could be the next Queen patch. It's uncontested map control against Terran. You don't save scans. You're irreparably behind if you save scans at the pro or the near pro level. I mean, especially with considering the maps are just all that much bigger. Terran's detection is 100-200. Zerg, okay, they get detection with their layer. That's a little bit better, but and especially since the fact that you get spore crawlers with no evo. But it makes absolutely no fucking sense at all. Whatever. That just made me mad. Like, there's no reason for it. The Tempest, I like the changes to the Tempest, and I really like the changes to the Void Ray. The charging up bit was, like, just stupid. There's no longer charging up the weapon, the period that it, like, I don't even know what that, no longer does passive plus massive damage. But there's a new ability that increases damage to armored units by 6 for 20 seconds. It has a 1 minute cooldown, so I'm assuming that they won't have energy on them, and it does not scale with upgrades. That can give them a little bit more viability. I'm interested to see how that plays out. The Tempest changes, they're reducing the build time by 15 seconds, but they're also reducing the bonus damage to massive units and giving it another attack which hits air units and ground units. Alright. Zerg. Hydralus is now an upgrade that's researchable at layer. I really like this Hydralus speed change. I like it. I think it'll improve the gameplay for the better. ZVZ should be much more entertaining. Mutalisk changed to 4 speed from 3.75. Acceleration stays at 3.5. I'm interested in how to see that in practice. Swarm hosts, I don't really know. The health is increased to 160, so I'm assuming that the health upgrade on top of that will still exist. I'm not 100% certain though. Infestor, fungal growth is now a projectile. The speed of the projectile is 10. 10 is pretty fucking fast. I don't think that this will be all too just like, oh my god, Zerg is just nerfed, underpowered shit. I don't think that that's what's going to happen. Let's see. The range is now down to 8. Infested Terrans no longer gain weapon and armor upgrades. Yes. This is really going to be something that changes the game. I think that out of all of the changes that is, it may make it to the point where your energy is better spent elsewhere. And that is a place that would make it a lot more enjoyable for spectators to watch. And I think it would be a lot less frustrating to play against. And because right now there's absolutely no reason not to make infestors. And when you have a tech choice like that, it really makes the game stale. Burrow change Burrow charge was actually removed for the Ultralisks, and the Ultralisks are now, instead of 15 damage plus 20 armored, they now do 35 flat damage. So upgrade's going to make that pretty good. Actually, I like the Ultralisk change. I think that gives them a little bit more viability, and we might see them a little bit more in TvP specifically. So, the Viper was increased with health. The Viper is a suicide unit. I don't think that this 30 health increase will change that. I don't like the role that it fills right now, and I think that it is way too effective against siege tanks. I think that everything that they've done, they haven't changed anything about siege tanks. They haven't changed about anything that was good against siege tanks that maybe no longer is also good. I still really don't think that Immortals will be tanks will be viable, mech will be viable in TvP, and that makes me really sad. Because like when people say, "Oh my god, oh it's totally viable," you need just to spam Widow Mines. Yeah, it's not mech. Believe it or not, it's just a very gimmicky playstyle. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. Again, I have not yet played the beta. I think that the one thing that Blizzard just really doesn't understand is the change, how the change in the Dark Shrine cost. There is no reason not to get a Dark Shrine now. Like, Dark Shrine is ridiculously good tech path. It gives you access to Archons ridiculously early. Think about how, like, gas is the limiting factor in early game PV whatever, and now you're just relegating this new tech choice to the forefront because, hey, you know what? It costs 150 gas less. It's retarded. Oh my god. I mean, the build time's still not going to be changed, but and e.g. Jadong, right? So right now they actually Kespo put out something that said 8th team was running out of sponsorships, and this is like the only reason that they're with EG. And this is something that you knew even before they put this addendum on. The only reason that they're with Jadong's with EG right now is because the 8th team has been losing sponsorship, right? So the second that they pick up a major corporate sponsorship, he immediately swaps back over to 8th team. So it's like a 1-year loan is what they were saying. I don't know. It's stupid wording. I think something gets lost in translation, but you guys understand what's up. So I hope you guys like this. I don't really talk about balance a lot, but I figured that since there was a big patch coming out, I would do so. I am going to end this here, because that's pretty much, I covered everything in the patch, all that stuff. My throat's actually getting a little bit, I don't know, something. So I hope you guys like this. I'll put it out tomorrow on Thursday morning, and that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed, have a good day, and I will catch you later. Peace.